Well, good morning, or good afternoon, rather, and we trust everyone had a good weekend, and thank you for joining us on this Monday. This weekend, Morgan County had another large increase in cases, with 47 positive tests being added to the current total from June 13th to June 14th. That's just 24 hours. Judy Smith from the Alabama Department of Public Health, who has become a regular and a favorite guest, has information about a new free testing center to share with us today. And Judy, we look forward to hearing about that. So with us today, we have again Morgan County Commission Chairman Ray Long. Chairman, thank you for joining us today. It's always nice to have you as a community partner and to have you here to share what's going on with the county. And then, of course, we have our friend with the Alabama Department of Public Health, our administrator for the Northern District, Judy Smith. And Judy has been on the forefront of COVID-19 now for months, and we're grateful for the information she has shared with us over the course of our press conferences. Now, the current Morgan County COVID-19 cases, 638 as of today. Now, you got to remember that last Monday, that number stood at 395. That's over a 60% increase in cases in 1 week. So with that, we've said numerous times and find it extremely important to reiterate, despite summer months being upon us, we must continue to work together to socially distance. Wear a face mask, wash your hands with warm soapy water, and disinfect. It is through the completion of these crucial steps that we will keep ourselves well, keep our families healthy, and sustain our local economy. Now, you've asked for it and it's finally back. Recycling will resume tomorrow with the city red routes. Please remember to place your receptacles on the street side instead of the alleyways. And thank you for your patience in the delay of service over the past few months due to COVID-19 impacts. We're all happy to serve you here at City Hall. If you can, please reach out to the departments that you need to do business with first. Oftentimes, trips can be saved with a phone call or email correspondence. We also encourage you to be sure to wear your mask whenever you do, if you do need to come to the municipal facility. If you haven't already done so, we want you to complete your census. Chairman, we're still doing well?
Still number 4 in the state.
Number 4 in the state. Great job. This is crucial for our state to receive the allocations, representation, and funding that our community needs. I want to encourage you to continue reaching out to our elderly neighbors. Call someone in your neighborhood and check on them today. If you have any questions about what's going on in the city, remember that you can reach out to your city council representative or to me. Our information is available on the website at DecaturAlabamaUSA.com. As always, we want to encourage you to support our small businesses in whatever capacity you can. And remember that our garbage routes continue to operate as normal. And remember, as we plan for the upcoming Independence Day holiday, please make note that the route for Friday, July 3rd will run on Monday, July 6th. So with that, now we'll take some updates from Chairman Long.
Thank you, Mayor. County's still running good, courthouse wide open, doing business. We still have lines for tags and driver's license stuff, and you know, so much of that could be done online if you would just take the time and do that. There's still no extra fees. We've still waived all mail fees, all credit card fees, and so it's just so convenient if you can go online, and if you can't go online, don't know how to do it, you know, if you'll call and they'll walk you through it here at the office. Be glad to help you. And you know, like I say, save you from standing in line. We don't want anybody to be outside, don't have to. You know, they're not doing appointments now for tags. You just have to show up, and we hope in the next few days we'll have somebody sitting outside again to let you come and sign up, and then you could actually go back to your car and sit, and they'll call you when your time comes. But you know, we just a lot of trying times right now during this, and we all got to find ways to get through it. You know, even with the numbers going up in our parks, people are using our parks good. I mean, they're getting out, but when you do that, it's hard to stay 6 feet apart, and we don't have the personnel to stand there and make sure everybody stays 6 feet apart. So that's where we have to take some personal responsibility, not only just for us, but for you kids and everybody that's out doing the things that they're doing right now. Those numbers is a big spike, and there's nothing that the mayor and I can do to stop those numbers. It's got to be individual responsibilities. And so we ask you to do that, and the same thing at the courthouse when you come. Give everybody space. Give 3 foot. We have the 6 feet. I'm sorry. We have the markers out, and people so far have been really great working with us at the courthouse. We've not had any complaints in my office about everything, but I look out the window sometimes and I see people standing out in the sun that they don't have to be. Most of them can do this stuff online, and just something worth looking into. But other than that, everything's going. Our garbage routes are still going. Like I say, everything's going right on at the courthouse and the county, and we just all hoping that we'll see these numbers start going down, Mayor, instead of going up.
That's right. That's right.
But thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Judy, thank you for joining us today.
I do want to first say that you all will notice that Chairman Long is not going to make you stand out in the sun, but he is going to make you sit in your hot car while you get your tags. Folks, public health is discouraged. Public health this is a daunting time in terms of what do we do now, what do we say. We have tried so hard. I guess I would have to be a little bit of a history teacher today and say, and quote Thomas Paine, who made the comment, "These are the times that try men's souls." And these are really, really tough times. Public health has been accused over time of being giving out nothing but scare tactics and difficult information. And I'm going to confess to you today, we do exactly that. Our job is to try to do things and try to give out information that we think will protect our publics. And as you can tell from the voice of these two folks that have just talked today, they care very much about the public in this county and the things that are going on. Now that I've been a history teacher, I'm going to be a little bit of a math teacher for a little while and tell you that the current caseload in Alabama is over 25,000. It's almost 26,000 folks. Of that, we have had 769 deaths. That's 769 too many. And those are folks those are family members, those are people that other folks cared about. The really scary part of that is if you take the numbers, if you actually take the hospitalizations and you look at the total number of cases, 1 in every 10 individual will end up in the hospital. Now, let me say, we want you to go to the hospital if you're sick. That's where you need to be. But if you're not, we really need you to not expose other folks. And if you can stay home, that is a great thing to do. This is a scary time. Back when all this first started, we talked about the fact that there was, people sort of downplayed it and said, well, we have 60,000 deaths from flu every year in this nation, which is a true statement. But right now, folks, we have 117,000 deaths in 3 months in this nation from a virus, a novel virus that we don't have a vaccine for. We don't have any treatment for at this point. So it's really a very, very difficult time. Going back to my fear tactics, we do that. I've been in public health a very, very long time. Some of my staff thinks very, very much too long, but, I keep hanging in there. But, we teach people not to go into fires without protection. We teach our children not to run out in the street because we don't want them to be run over. We teach our folks not to play with wild animals or go close to wild animals because they may be devoured. We wouldn't let our kids go out and do sports without the proper equipment, without helmets and the things that they need, because we want them to be protected. As a public health professional, I have over time, I hate to admit this, but I was actually a child of the polio era when our parents were scared to death for us to go out. Then there was a vaccine, and then things were better. I've been around while we protected people against measles because it was going to cause measles encephalitis. We still think immunizations are tremendously important. But we did those things to protect the public. And did we use scare tactics to get you there? If that's what it took for you to be safe, then that's what we want you to do. I will say this again, that this weekend we rode through some of the Decatur parks, and Chairman, I'm not disagreeing with you, and I think most people do cooperate, but the ball teams were covered up. The ballparks were covered up. Now, I hope a lot of folks hit a lot of good grounders and a lot of good out of the ballparks, but I will say, from a public health standpoint, we have hit a lot of foul balls this weekend. As a matter of fact, in Alabama this weekend, over 2,700 new cases in 3 days. 2,700 in 3 days. We talked about the Morgan County numbers. There's 638 numbers is our cases right now. That has gone up 54% in the last 2 weeks. It is 36% of that, quite honestly, 126 cases are since last Friday. So, you know, I think as a public health professional, our role is to turn this situation over to you all as the citizens of this county, to do what you need to do. But number one, protect yourself and protect your family, and certainly protect the other folks around you. I want to mention, the mayor mentioned that there is a new testing site. One of the pharmaceutical companies, one of the grocery companies has actually come into town, will be in town the next 3 days at the Epic Church to offer free testing for anybody that wants it. The hours are from 8 until 1:30, and you know, the health department and many other sites around, well, the health department continues to offer free testing at least 2 to 3 days a week based on the need. And there are numerous other places in this town where folks can get testing. You know, if you need to be tested, we want you to go. But I am going to say this at this time. There are a huge number of tests out there. We know it's out there. We know that there's a huge number of positive. Our role right now needs to be prevention. We don't need to be worrying about what's going to happen after we get exposed or somebody in our office gets exposed. And I'm reminded of a saying that my mom used to say, about my parents used to tell us, you know, closing the barn door after the horse is out is a little bit late. And yes, we want you to get tested if there's a need and if you care, if you feel like that you need to. On the other hand, do what it takes to stay out of trouble. It's a heck of a lot easier to stay out of trouble than it is to get out of it once you get in it. And I opened with Thomas Paine's wording, and so what I'd like to do is kind of close with some of his wording. So all of those teachers out there, well, my teacher, if she's still around, would be so proud that I listened a little bit in history class. But after he said that these are the times that try men's soul, he also said, the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country, but he that stands by it now deserves the love and the thanks of the men and women of this country, of this county, of this state. He went on to say, whether the independence of this continent, and we could say the independence of this county or this state, was declared too soon or whether it was delayed too long, we're still in this ball game together, and the outcome of this is totally dependent on us. Thank you, sir.
Judy, thank you.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for sharing about the test center. I think that they've asked that appointments be made, and to schedule an appointment, you will want to go to www.krogerhealth.com/COVID testing, and that is the Kroger online portal. Let me say that again. www.krogerhealth.com/COVID testing. So with that, now we'll take any questions that you might have.
Judy, you talked about the difference with the flu, and I think that this is something that people bring up a lot. They like to compare and say, well, more people die of the flu every year. Can you go over those numbers again and just kind of put in comparison how many more deaths we've seen in just a few short months from COVID?
Absolutely. Well, in the nation, we say that we have about 60,000 deaths every year from flu. Currently, at this time, we have 117,000 deaths in this nation. Now, in Alabama, we approach roughly 1,000 deaths every year from flu and pneumonia. And right now, as you know, we're sitting in 3 months' time, we're sitting at almost 800 deaths, and we don't have a vaccine. Now, flu season generally runs, you know, it can be, we have flu all year round, but it generally runs from October through the end of March. So in 6 months' time, we have 1,000. We're going to way beat that. The other really concerning thing to public health professionals is we haven't really hit flu season yet. We also have not abated this situation. If we add flu on top of this to all of our population, but certainly our vulnerable population, we have the potential to be in trouble. We've got to do the safety things that we need to do in order to prevent this.
Why do you think we've seen such a spike in cases in the last 2 weeks in Morgan County specifically?
Well, first of all, Memorial Day was a big deal. I will tell you that. You know, people, we lost Easter, we lost Mother's Day. By the way, if my children still want to send gifts, they're allowed to do so. But, you know, we've lost so much of the things that we do in the spring. Spring is a big time for our carnivals and, you know, graduations and all of these things. And people just flat got sick of it. I mean, they are just absolutely sick of it. So when Memorial Day came, when things got opened up, a lot of people decided, hey, geez, I just can't take this. I've got to get out. Again, the real trauma to that is we've done a major backpedaling and we've hit a lot of foul balls getting to where we need to go.
I have a question.
Sure.
For either of you or Commissioner Long. I know that we were talking about how we're kind of backpedaling here with people going outside. And I think one of the points that you were saying is that we just don't have enough personnel to kind of watch, you know, everyone, and you all went to the park. I mean, I know it's a personal and an individual thing to do, but what else can we do just as, you know, community leaders?
Listen, it's a great thing to go to the park. It's absolutely a great thing. The biggest deal in all of this, the absolute biggest thing, is social distancing, the 6-foot distance. And if you look at any of the experts talk, the number one thing that you can do is just stay away from any potential exposure. Stay away from that wild animal. Stay away from the fire. Stay away from getting injured in other things. You know, stay away. The second piece is and again, we would not send a fireman into the fire without the proper equipment. We wouldn't send our child onto the sports field without a helmet. We won't even let them ride bicycles without a helmet. What we need to do is wear our helmets, do the things that we need to do. We've got two very, very useful and workable things. We've just got to use them. And I guarantee you that everybody here and everybody listening has gone into a big box store or even a small box store and have seen the majority of people who don't have, who maybe not the majority, but a lot of people who do not have masks on. Stay away from them. They're the wild animal that's going to get you. And you know, just stay away from them. Do what it takes to protect yourself. I'm sorry, Chairman.
Oh, no, that's kind of where it is. You know, people have to take responsibility for themselves. I mean, we can tell them, we can put up signs at the park and all, but we just don't have the manpower to have people at every park saying, you know, you've got to stay this distance. You know, we as individuals, I mean, we have to take responsibility for not only ourselves but our kids when we go to parks, when we do things. But as Judy said, if you're going to be in crowds, you need one of these. I mean, even your kids need one. If they're going to be sliding down the slides with other people's kids and families and stuff, you know, you got to take the equipment with you. I mean, that's all we can do.
And to build on to what the chairman has said, you know, we're in this for the long haul. This is not going to end tomorrow. This may be a new lifestyle that we have. We have a new, very deadly virus. You know, we all hope for a vaccine and stuff, but at the same time, we can't be responsible for what other people do. We can be responsible for what we do. Protect yourself, protect your family, and if people are too close, get away. Just get, you can separate yourself.
So we have a question from the Decatur Daily. Judy, I believe this will be for you. Statewide death rate is higher than Morgan County's death rate. Why do we believe this to be so disproportionate?
I'm not actually sure what they are, what this is referring to, but I will say this. You know, Morgan County did really, really great for a long time. They're still doing great. I mean, they're still doing good by comparison. You know, one of the other things that they did is you all have a very vibrant hospital system here that is in fellowship with the hospitals around the area that have also done a lot of outreach to help. The other thing that I think a lot of the congregate situations have really stepped up to the plate and done what they were supposed to do. Your nursing homes have been very on top of it. Quite honestly, your jails have been very on top of it. One of them even woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning one morning to be on top of it. But anyway, but they've done what, and I'm not saying that other people haven't. It's just that the demographics are different in every part of the state. A lot more of our older people live in Mobile, in the southern. We go south when we retire, and the demographics. I think the officials caring about what was going on, I think being on top of it from the beginning, there are just a lot of factors that go into it, and I certainly commend this county for doing all the things that it has. Now it's time for the people to step up. The officials stepped up from the get-go. Now it's time we're in this together. What becomes of this county and where we go from here is going to be dependent on everybody, not just these officials sitting at this table.
Thank you, Judy.
I know that you said that you can't control, obviously, people, going to the park and whatnot. Is it ever going to get to a point where we see another shutdown? When we had the shutdown, a month and a half ago, we weren't seeing these spikes. Now we're back open. Like you said, I went to Walmart today. I would say the majority of people weren't wearing a mask. At what point do we shut back down to control this?
Well, that's always a danger. As I said earlier, the real crisis and all that is that, there's lives and then there's livelihoods. And it is a huge balance. And one of the things that did happen in the shutdown is that the livelihood of so many people was devastated. I don't think any of us can go back there. I don't think any of us want to go back there. And once again, that becomes our responsibility. Our responsibility is what if our hospital is inundated? So, we have that in our control. And as Thomas Paine would say, we get to make those decisions. Again, you can't control what other people do, but you can control what you do. Let's don't close our city down. Let's don't close our county down. We have the capability of doing this. We're very bright. I don't care what other people say about the state of Alabama. It's one of the greatest states. It is the greatest state in the nation. We have the ability to control this.
Thank you. All right, so thank you so much for joining us today. Our next press conference will be Monday, June the 22nd at 10 a.m. Have a good day, be safe, stay well. Thank you all.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.